What is up, everybody? Welcome back to High School Never Ends, a pop punk dad podcast. I am Wingman Steve.
And I'm Chris183, and Steve, you have wasted all of your Chris's over the years, just so you know.
Have I?
Yes.
That's a good line. I like it so much. And welcome, everyone, to Movie May. We did this a year ago. If you didn't listen back then, or if you're new to the show, or you just saw that we're doing an episode about this movie and you liked it, we're doing this thing this month. We have 5 movies, and they're all about music. That's the only thing that brings them in common. They're movies about music, and we probably like them if we pick them to talk about. But Movie May is a celebration of movies. Chris and I are big movie buffs, and we have some buffs here with us to join us for this episode. So first off, the episode is about the masterpiece called That Thing You Do. It is a fantastic movie. Chris is shaking his head. We're going to have to dial into that, but we have a gaggle of guests here. You might know them from some of their awesome pop punk and emo live karaoke shows in Nashville or Pittsburgh or maybe somewhere else. You might know them from their residency on Matt Kutchel's Emo's Not Dead cruise, which is pretty fucking cool. We just know them as some super nice, silly dudes from the Emo Band. We got Matt, we got Nate, and we got Corey here. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Howdy. Everyone is looking quite handsome, especially Matt Fuchs. That's his name. We're not denigrating him. Who actually showed up dressed in shades, and now you've taken them off, so you've lost your luster.
Yeah, I don't want you to see my notes and spoil any spoilers.
You really think that we could see the reflection on your black glasses on our tiny little Zoom windows?
I assumed so. That's why I removed them.
Well, way to play it safe. Nate, we don't need to talk to you. Corey.
Well,
Corey is first time on our show. He plays in a bunch of bands, including Punchline. Just saw him, and you're super busy. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having us, guys. I'm really excited to talk about this movie.
This is a favorite movie of yours?
It is. It's top 3 favorite movies of mine. A big reason why I play music is because of this movie.
Wow. We're going to have to dive in. Nate, you can say hi. I was just kidding. I didn't mean to skip.
I actually have something important to say. I'm very sorry. I kind of goofed up on this episode here. I didn't watch the movie. I watched Do the Right Thing by Spike Lee.
Oh my! Can we kick him out yet?
You're going to have a tough time following along. That's a different movie.
I'm going to fake it, but yeah, I'm not prepared, but we'll be okay.
I feel like there's some similarities, so I mean, it'd probably be fine.
If Nate doesn't watch out, I'm going to talk about some things that he does.
Please throw him on blast. That's what we love here on High School Never Ends. Chris, you shook your head, and I think when we talked a few days ago, am I correct or incorrect that you don't have any history, that you hadn't seen this movie? Is that true?
That's right. I had no interest in watching this movie, and after watching it, I know why that is. It feels like I'm jumping right into a Shark Tank of people that love this movie. So this is going to be a great conversation, but I'll tell you why as we get into it, as you said.
Chris, I don't know if this is an inappropriate question, but how old are you?
I am over 40.
Okay. That was an important one for me because I'm out with a band called Lakeview right now, and we have a new front of house guy, and he's very young. Mm-hmm. And I was watching it on this tour, and he had no clue what the movie was. So I was making sure it wasn't a case of that.
I'll take the very young. Yeah, thanks.
I assumed awesome. Before you said you were over 40, I thought that's what it was. Yeah.
No, look, I just I knew the movie was out, and I knew it was around, and I've heard of it, and I don't think it's for somebody that pays attention to pop culture, I don't know how you missed this one, but I just really had no interest in just we'll talk about it again, but that's kind of where I'm coming from.
He doesn't like the O-Neaters. I don't know. We'll start with, I guess, the rest of us, little history. And, when did we get into this? I remember when this movie came out, not like the day or seeing it in the theater specifically, but I remember seeing it while it was in the theater. And when the DVD came out, buying it on DVD. This is one of those movies, for me at least, that I don't watch a whole lot of regular TV. I just have the apps. I don't have the cable anymore. But if I'm at a hotel or something and you can't plug in and you're just looking for stuff to watch, if this movie's on, this is a movie that I could put on at any point in the movie and just kind of keep. It's like The Office. If The Office is on TV, I'm going to watch that. And this is kind of one of those movies for me. Shades, Fox, what do you think?
Yeah, thinking about what Chris said. First off, this is like a continuation of your awful April for you, then, Chris. You're like this. No, yeah, I agree. This maybe that's part of it is nostalgia as a kid. I grew up loving the Beatles too, so to see the kind of similarities in the groups and how the movie was made, I love this movie, and I just rewatched it again with my wife past couple of days, and yeah, it's too short in my opinion. They could have made it into a series. I think it's great. I think it really takes a good look at how bands. It was a condensed look at how bands can come together, get huge, and then blow up. And I don't want to ruin the podcast, but I thought it was like a very nice condensed look into how the behaviors of bands can happen.
And record labels and the
Yeah,
music
exactly.
industry in general, for sure. Nate, what about you? How do you like this movie? How'd you get into it?
Well, I didn't watch the movie recently, but I have seen the movie. I'm not gonna.
You didn't watch the movie knowing you were going to come on here to talk to us about
It's okay.
the movie?
I've seen the movie a bunch. No, I feel like I'm hitting it from the perspective of somebody from Northwestern Pennsylvania, because I remember when the movie came out, it was such a big deal that it was based in Erie. So I feel like that's my input here. I can be the Northwestern Pennsylvanian voice. But yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good time.
Pointless because the movie wasn't shot there.
I don't care. It's based there, Corey.
Can't get anything by him. He's from Erie, PA.
Yeah, true. Mm-hmm.
Are you from Erie?
No,
No,
I'm not
no.
from Erie.
That's from the movie.
Mm-hmm. He
Corey.
didn't watch it.
Nate was in there, Neaters.
I am an Oneater.
Yeah, dude.
Corey, you're up. Talk to us. How did this make you get into music?
I was so as from a young kid, I was really into sports and stuff, but my first memory of music and music that I loved was the oldies, as they call them. And so I came from a very, very Christian family, and it wasn't easy for me to be like my allowable music intake was very monitored. So oldies were kind of a genre that like it was just fair game. I could listen to any of that. There's a station in Pittsburgh called 3WS, and I just took a loving to this type of music. When I was young, there was a band called Gary Lewis and the Playboys that was like my favorite band when I was a young kid, and very similar to what the Wonders are. And like Fuck said, like the Beatles is my favorite band, and just this, I can distinctly remember just watching this movie and being the kid that was like, this is what I want to do. So very important movie to me.
That is awesome. It's so influential. And we're going to play a little game. We're going to make you guys play a little game. But first, just a couple of quick hits, a couple of quick facts about the movie. This was written and directed by Tom Hanks. It came out October 4th in 1996. It had a $26 million budget and it grossed $35 million. So it was successful, but it didn't blow the roof off of it. I feel like it's a little bit of a cult classic. Somebody mentioned it was too short, runs 108 minutes. I believe there is an extended version with some extra scenes and stuff, which runs a little longer. It has a 94% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. So if you don't like this, Chris, or people out there, you would be in the minority. And the song That Thing You Do was a real song that reached number 41 on the Hot 100. So not only did they write this song for this record, but it actually became somewhat of a radio hit, and New Found Glory covered it, which is also pretty good. But if you remember, go ahead.
On the song, like the writing of the song too. So the person that wrote that song is Adam Schlesinger from Fountains of Wayne, who is also one of my favorite songwriters ever. This movie being a big reason why he was. Me finding out he wrote that song kind of showed me Fountains of Wayne, and that just opened my world to his songwriting. R.I.P. He passed away, but incredible songwriter.
Yeah, and he had a hand in a lot of those Bowling for Soup hits too. I think High School Never Ends, or I forget which one.
Cat songs, he had a hand in those.
Absolutely. Well, if you guys, if anybody out there listening, and if you remember like a full year ago, which you probably don't, because you probably listen to a lot of podcasts and watch a lot of movies and smoke a lot of weed and do all sorts of things. But the way that I think is the most fun to put our guests on the spot is to talk about this movie. And I would like to have the three of you guys basically take turns, maybe like a sentence or two sentences at a time. And I want you to give the whole plot of the movie. I want you to just, if somebody is listening that has never seen That Thing You Do, I mean, I don't know why you would listen without having seen it, but if they are, I want you guys to tell them what this movie is about. And since there's 3 of you, you're going to have to take turns and basically finish each other's sandwiches. So we'll go in reverse stage order this time. We'll have Corey start first, and then Nate, and then Fucks. But again, I want you guys to walk through the whole movies. No spoilers. Doesn't have to be exact. Give us the overall plot of the movie. Go.
Yeah, so it's about a group of friends from Erie, Pennsylvania, who are in a band, a very inexperienced band that is getting ready to play a talent show. And their drummer breaks his arm, and a fellow acquaintance of theirs who is working at his father's appliance store is a drummer, and they call him up that day to play that show that night. And he decides that he is going to take the tempo of the song up to he takes it up to 135 BPM, which
Drummer speak.
It's and from then on, I'm going to go on to them. You guys can
pass to Nate.
So 135 is the BPM to really get a song going. I don't know if you guys know that. But yeah, they play it. It kicks ass. They do a great job at it. The lead singer, he's like, hey, no, don't do this to my song. But they're like, no, we got a hit here. Here we go. Let's go play all over Pennsylvania. Fox, it's your turn.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. Good thing you handed that off. Yeah, they play the talent show against the singer who is, I guess, a brooding kind of Elliott Smith-esque, needs to torture himself kind of songwriter. Doesn't necessarily want to play it that way, but it catches on. They're booked by local restaurants, and then they have this blow up period where they're discovered by a sketchy man in a camper who goes on to be their manager, introduces them, gets them to play some regional shows, and it's still state, not state farms. What is they called? State fairs. They go on to meet who is a manager for one of the biggest labels, I imagine at the time, an imaginary label that then went on to be a production company, Playtone. And Mr. White, played by Tom Hanks, who quote unquote discovers them, hands them off to Mr. White, who he kind of takes them on that magical mystery Beatles-esque let's rocket you to the moon trajectory on the teen sensation. And I'll pass it to whoever now.
I mean, you can go back to me. It's really just the roller of the power of the music industry in the 60s and how one song could send you on this roller coaster and all the trials and tribulations that being in a band can be, from the bottom of the bottom to the top of the top. And it all happens in a few months. And yeah, it's just a great story. I do think that when Tom Hanks, well, this is his first write and direct, I think he ever did. So it was a big deal for him. But I think that the inspiration, is that he wanted to have a story of basically the Beatles from America. And there's plenty of references to the Beatles in this movie as well. So yeah.
There is, but we gotta round out the plot.
Nate?
They get really big, and then
they get real big. Everything falls apart. Singer quits. One of my least favorite scenes in the movie. A lot of people's least favorite scene. I know that much. Everything fragments. I don't want to get too much into this detail of it because I like it and it's also more detailed and it wouldn't be part of a.
Would you say he has LSD, lead singer disease?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, my favorite person in the band that goofs up is the bass player, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah, it just all falls apart. Then it kind of leans over to the drummer in the story. But I mean, that's just like a directorial decision. It's not really plot oriented, but
Yeah, there's not much after that follows them. But I do like at the end of the movie, I won't give it away of what the people do at the end of the movie, but they do recap what happens to them. And it's cool because that is what happens to real bands. You'll look and you'll be like, yeah, Corey now runs a garden shop and nursery in Erie, PA or something like that. I thought that was a cool way to end it.
Are you saying that that's what Corey's going to do when he's
it's just interesting knowing bands now that you see some of them go on and they write records and they produce, and some of them like manage a car dealership, and like that's just the way it goes. And I thought that was a cool way to end it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for playing the plot game. You did a fantastic job. Chris, I think we got to give you some sound off here. I want to hear your overall thoughts, or wherever you kind of want to, wherever you want to go.
I don't know where to start. I mean, I think so. We went through the plot. Do you want my thoughts on the movie again, or do we want to be a little bit more focused on the next part of this, Steve?
I mean, whatever you want. I want to give you a chance to elaborate. Were there certain things? So you had said that you didn't really like it. So I'm curious as to what what turned you off. Was it a little too rom-com-y? Was it a little too kitschy?
No, it was just a little bit too formulaic. Like for a movie, like there was nothing that was interesting. I feel like I could have written this movie, from front to back. All it was just a straightforward like band writes song, band does good, band has conflict, band breaks apart, end of movie. I mean, to me, like I just don't.
It's kind of like a biopic of a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, I want to pop in and agree with you on that. Like, I was gonna have that written down here to say is that like I don't think this movie was hard to write. I don't think it's like Tom Hanks like changed the game or anything. It basically wrote itself, but I think he put it. It's for me. It's the casting. It's the characters. It's just how it was shot. I think they did a really good job of that. But I do agree with you that it's not like a game changer movie.
Yeah, hey, Chris, yeah, did you? So you said you didn't see this as a younger buck, right?
Mm-mm.
This happens to me a lot, and it's one of the reasons I think I'm like a prick about music sometimes. But was it too blown up at that point for you to be like watching it from an eye of like I don't know what to expect?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I came into it. No, I just came into it with an open mind. I mean, I just didn't get anything from it. Like, even the characterization, like to me, like I think that it was just so to me, they were caricatures of themselves. Like I couldn't get into the characters at all because there was just no depth to them. Like I didn't feel like I cared about any of them. Maybe the drummer, because he was the center of the story for the most part. But or the driving force behind the story, but everybody else, like you had the lead singer that went on the arc of kind of, you knew he was going to be a jerk at the end, or you had an idea that was where he was headed, and that's where he was headed. So it was like no surprises, didn't really care about the characters, and it was just a very formulaic plot. So
is there anything about the plot that you think had like a big hole to it, or something that maybe they should have changed? Like, we talk about plot holes. Is there anything that like really didn't make sense?
So.
Or
like well, one thing that didn't make sense is that Giovanni Ribisi, like his character. Okay, so I don't know if they really get into this, and maybe I missed it because I fell asleep a little bit. Like, okay, so he basically was kicked out of the band or missed his shot because he broke his arm, and then this other guy comes in, so he misses his shot at fame, which obviously sucks. And then he goes and instead of, saying anything, he just decides to work at that appliance store. And then he's watching them on TV and having a great time doing it. And it just didn't seem like really he's
like Scott Rayner working at Famous Stars and Straps.
So he doesn't care at all. It's like, all right, great. Like I was in that band, but then I broke my arm and they just dumped me. Like, and I'm going to be happy for them. Like, you feel like there would be a little bit more to that than what we saw. But overall, no, I don't think there was any plot holes. It was just, it was predictable. There was no plot holes. It was just predictable. It went exactly as you thought it would go.
It is predictable, but I think that's what's cool about it is that it's very realistic. And you brought up Blink, and that's a very similar situation, especially when it comes to the drummer and, Scott's sitting at home. And I don't think Blink is Blink if Travis doesn't join. And there's other stories of that. There was a kid that was supposed to be in U2 that his brother like stopped him from being in it. And there's a movie about that as well. So for me, there's a lot of realistic things in this movie, and I think that a lot of research went into it to do those things. But I don't even disagree with much of what you're saying at all.
Yeah, I think, but I don't know. Maybe because I'm like a Pollyanna. I like the fact that there isn't the gloom and doom, and like the ex drummers, just like, I'm okay, I broke my arm. It's kind of very Ted Lasso, like wholesome of like, sometimes things do work out and it's okay. And I don't know. I just enjoy the fact that it was just kind of fun loving. And I looked at the characters as an older person as kind of ideas, not like really people. And I know that sounds real deep and kind of dumb, but they all kind of represent different ideas within the band. And I think people that play music can see someone that they know in those people when you watch the movie, and I think that's a really cool thing. And I don't know, I didn't focus too much on the character development themselves because I don't think they changed any bit from the beginning of the movie to the end, but you just knew who they were from the outset. And I like that you could see them progress through getting famous, and some of them not changing, and some of them just having their true colors shown.
In terms of the drummer though, and his like character and being okay with, you know, getting hired by Guy's dad to run, you know, work at the appliance shop, I feel like his character is very similar to the bass player who doesn't have a name. He's credited as TB player, the bass player, Ethan Embry. But so
on that point real quick though, he there's an interview where he actually made up a name that he had it written down in here somewhere. Let me see here. Oh yeah, he says that it's Tobias Player, according to Ethan Embry. That's
pretty funny.
Official, yeah.
That seems like an Ethan
I played
Embry
Tobias.
thing to say. But again, I feel like him and the bass player, they're like these goofballs. So they're kind of, and I mean Lenny's a goofball too. We'll go into the characters in a sec, but I just feel like he's so goofy that he's like, oops, I broke my arm, you know, and then he's stuck back in Erie, PA, and he's, you know, needs a job. And, you know, why not buy into the hype of this local band that he used to be in that is like blown the fuck up and all of a sudden is on, you know, the whatever Hollywood showcase.
Oh yeah,
thing.
because that feels really good to be watching a band that you could have been in and selling washing machines instead of being on Ed Sullivan, right? That would make me feel amazing to see that.
I think that happens all the time.
He might get a piece of those royalties. You never know.
I mean, the thing is, I think the message too is that he realizes, because if you remember at the talent show, he's in the back of the room being like, "That's way too fast, guy. Like, what are you doing?" You know, but it takes off, and I think that he realizes like that song was never going to be big unless he wasn't the drummer.
Yeah, maybe he's advanced for his age, a young guy that can just be at peace with what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, plus to your point about it being like very predictable and whatnot, and I was thinking about this when Corey's talking about music. I did read, and I thought this was cool that, and I think this is true because I mean I hope it is. Someone can fact check me if not. But Tom Hanks wrote this, I believe, when he was filming Forrest Gump, and this was his way to like keep sane because it was just like a pleasurable outlet. And none of the music is because he was filming Forrest Gump. They didn't use real '60s music because he thought that was being overdone in that era anyway. So all that music is just for the movie.
And he actually wrote some of the music, like the opening song is written just by Tom Hanks.
Crazy.
What? Well, just to reiterate what Fuck said, Tom Hanks claimed that he wrote the script while on the promotional tour for Forrest Gump, 1994, due to his boredom during all the nonstop interviews. I didn't read that off anything.
Off Wikipedia.
What?
Oh, I didn't. Okay.
Off of AOL.com.
Yes, that's also what I read.
I'll tell you what else. What else really just grinded my gears about this movie is I cannot stand Liv Tyler at all as an actress. Like I don't want to watch anything she's in. So maybe that's the reason why. I don't know.
Absolutely agree with you. Other than this movie, but it's because I had such a crush on her when I was little.
I'm pretty sure, Chris, you said that when we did Empire Records last year too. I think that checks out. I think that holds up.
Not a fan.
Guess who else was in Empire Records?
Ethan Embry.
Ethan Embry.
Basically the same character.
Is there some kind of like 90s name for them, like the Brat Pack?
I don't know.
All right, well, we'll
The Oneaters?
Put that in the parking lot.
Put it in the parking lot. All right, let's talk about these characters here. I think the place to start would be with our basically our main character, which is Guy Patterson. He also goes by Skitch. He goes by Shades, and he's played by an actor called Tom Everett Scott. And guys, I think Corey, you might have said, I think the casting in this movie is fantastic. I don't know, whoever was in charge of it, just I think did a really good job. I love Tom Everett Scott. I think I haven't seen everything that he's done, but everything that I've seen with him in it, I just feel like he's awesome. He was in this this comedy. It was a couple years ago. It only had a couple of seasons, and it got canceled because of COVID. Man, I'll try and think of it. But that whatever that comedy was, it was like a raunchy comedy with a female lead, and it was hilarious. He just played the husband. But I feel like everything he does, I don't know. I buy into it. I don't know that he's the greatest actor of all time, but I think he played this part well. He did learn to play the drums. Corey, did you notice? I know because my dad played drums. He plays there are some people that hold them. I don't even know how to fucking say this. They hold the sticks basically with their hands outright normal. And then kind of the older generation, they hold the sticks with your hand kind of upside down, and he holds them like that. So that was something I picked up on.
He plays traditional. And something that's really cool about this movie, and there's some movies that do this, some movies that don't, and mainly musicians will realize this, but I hate nothing more than I'm watching a band in a movie or something, and they're not, you can tell that they don't play. So they, before the movie, and this is why I think that why the casting was so good, and why they just felt, and still to today, like they still to me feel like a real band, and it's because they all took lessons for 8 weeks or more on their respective instruments, learned the basics enough that when in the movie, you cannot tell that they were not musicians before this. And they also, I think they built like this core kind of, just camaraderie that when they came in, before reading the scripts together, anything like that, they did the band thing first and the music thing first. And I think that just oozed from the movie and made it very believable to me. And ever since I was a kid, like I look at them as a real band. And I think that was a very, very important part of the story that Tom Hanks was very adamant about.
And so you bought Tom Everett Scott's Guy Patterson. You thought he did a good job.
I did. Yeah. Even rewatching it now, I mean, I've seen the movie hundreds of times, but even now watching it, like I'm looking and I'm watching, and him more than anyone probably did an amazing job of pulling it off.
Even when he's doing the jazz shit with Del Paxton at the very end, you can tell that like when he's hitting the snare and when he's hitting the hi-hat and stuff like that, it's close to real. It's probably real.
Absolutely. Yep.
What do you guys think of Guy Patterson?
Tom Hanks wrote that song at the end, by the way. He wrote that drum part.
Oh, really? The I Am Spartacus thing?
Tom Hanks wrote that, yeah, which is kind of cool too.
He wrote it during Castaway, actually.
While he was taking a dump.
Yeah.
Matt, Nate, any thoughts on Guy Patterson?
I don't have any extra thoughts. I think it was covered pretty well there.
Yeah, no, Corey did it well. I thought it was a good casting. He's innocent, but like hungry. I don't know. Kind of
did you say that Tom Hanks wrote that drum part at the
end? Yeah, he wrote that.
I would like to read where that is from.
Yeah, I thought you were joking, so I was going along with it.
Oh, I'll bring it up here.
I just glossed over it and just assumed.
You don't got to bring it up here.
Hopefully it's true.
We'll talk about it later.
At your next band meeting.
Yeah.
Chris, what do you think about Shades?
I think he was to me the only palatable character in the movie. To me, like he was the only one that I was ever really interested in hearing from or about. So I don't know why. Maybe it's just the charisma of that particular actor or the way they wrote that character. But I don't know. Just everybody else was just kind of blah. And I think he was at least, somewhat interesting in the things he had to say and the way that he kind of carried himself.
And you said that you hate Liv Tyler. Her character's name is Faye.
Yes.
I don't love her. She's okay. I would say the one thing that turns me off about this movie every time that I watch it is her like dumping Jimmy speech. Like I hate her speech, and I don't really. I think maybe that's the one time where I really say, and that might have just been. It might have just been how it was written, not necessarily her. I think she does fine. I liked her in that Aerosmith video and Armageddon. She was all right.
Which Aerosmith video?
She was with Alicia Silverstone in Amazing, I believe it was.
That's like 6 Aerosmith videos.
Yeah, she's in most of them.
What? No, wasn't Alicia Silverstone? Oh well, I mean, Steven Tyler's her dad. I don't remember how many. I don't remember how many she was in. I just remember she was in Crazy with Alicia Silverstone together.
Here's why. Yeah,
Amazing.
That
Sorry.
speech was cringy. Nobody talks that way. I don't care. Like
I've wasted thousands and thousands of kisses on you.
Like who says that? Who even in the 1960s?
I said that literally yesterday.
I don't believe you.
To his
I
dog.
don't believe you.
Yeah, to the staff at Whataburger.
That's I think Whataburger's closed. But look, it's like, come on, man. You could have said like wasted time. Like what? Wasted kid? Like get the hell out of here.
I think that was just poor dialogue. Like, I don't necessarily put it on her.
Tom Hanks actually wrote that part. I could never mind. I was going to make another lie up. Yeah, we wrote that on the drums actually for her to say.
Hey, quick little fun fact I just want to throw into here. A little I'm going to make up a conspiracy theory, and the math doesn't add up at all. But Guy Peterson's first girlfriend is Tina, and we know Faye.
Oh, Tina Fey.
Tina and Faye. I get it. I get it.
Look at that.
Good connection. Good connection, Corey. I like it.
Think about it.
And the problem is that Guy brings that same line of dialogue back at the end with his stupid ass. What does he say? Like, when's the last time you've been kissed real good? Like, have you tried that? Does that work anywhere?
I think actually it sounded better you saying it than it did in
I like
that
to
line.
think that they just PG'd down what he was really saying.
That's what I thought. It was really like effed because then they went into the
Whoa, bro.
When's the
hotel.
last time you were
seriously.
railed?
Can we find like somewhere in the middle?
PG'd down, he gets the point across. Okay.
Okay. So he's going for it there. I mean, they're basically friends at that point, and that's really what he has to say. So okay, I see.
But speaking of the girlfriends in the first one, I mean, that's Charlize Theron. I mean, I think she plays. It's funny. I don't necessarily get the character because she's like so uninterested in him and him like his success and blowing up, and then she falls in love with the dentist and whatever. But I think she does a good job, right?
Yeah, she's pretty easy looker. I think that couple is, it's like weird. It's that might be like one of the casting things where I'm like, I don't know, was this ever? But I think her point was kind of to show that Guy was kind of started on his adult life in, had this thing, and he was very like not this rock and roll guy at all, and kind of was just like dragged into it. So I think that's kind of her role in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think it sets up a lot for his, like, on the outside looking in at what he wanted from a girl. Faye's giving to Jimmy, and the whole time he's kind of admiring that because he got shit on by this girl. Even
there's so many guys and girls and so many people in this world that I think don't kind of do the comfortable thing where clearly Guy, music is his passion. There's so many times in the movie where he just turns into a total music nerd, mostly about jazz. And you can just tell that that's his real passion, but he seems like, my family owns this business. I was, in the military. Now I have this girlfriend. Like, I'm kind of just doing what I'm supposed to do, but it's not what he wants to do. And I think that's very relatable.
One thing that's missing from the movie is a lot of like groupies. Like you do see scenes where, the when they get famous, they're all screaming and they have to run into the limo or whatever. But
yeah,
you would think that like, that these guys were like swimming in it, and it didn't really come off that way. Like Lenny was pretty thirsty, and
maybe you guys can relate or know better this. Like when this movie came out, I can't remember. I was a kid and I definitely saw it in the theaters. Like I said, it's one of my favorite movies, but like, was it geared towards kids or like who was this movie marketed to when it came out in 96?
That is a fantastic question.
Question.
I would think teens and up, but I don't think only teens.
3 probably. So yeah, maybe like it was just like they were trying to keep it at a certain rating. Who knows?
Yeah, is it PG? I was just gonna say
It's PG.
I mean, I know every time I go to see the Emo Band, Nate has to like fight the women off of him. It's pretty intense.
I was going to say that what you mentioned at the beginning is actually pretty true about real life playing in bands. I don't know if Corey and Matt can relate, but there are no groupies. No girls come talk to you. Whenever you're done with the show, you typically just put your bass back on a stand and you get to go to the back room by yourself. No one else is there. It's just you. But yeah, I don't know what, I think the movie's accurate for that. There's no girls that talk to you after shows.
Yeah,
ever.
that is just a thing.
It's just me?
Nah, kidding.
I'm just kidding too.
Behind the scenes.
They just
of the
scream
Emo
roll
Band.
out. That's all they do. Is that what the groupies are? They just
they come in the back room and go, ah!
So also, I mean, I think that groupies back then are a little different than what we might think of them today, clearly that stuff was going on, but they were more like psychotic. And I mean, there's the story of, Paul McCartney, that he's not real Paul McCartney. And the reason that they couldn't tell the public is because girls would literally, what was it called now? Unalive.
Live.
Like that was a real concern. But I think that they got that across in that scene that you were talking about where they leave, he gets that letter where they're at the state fair, and the letter is saying that they have the number 7 song in the country, I think, and it's the fastest moving song in Playtone history, and they're flying to the West Coast, and them getting out of there is like that quintessential Beatles thing where there's girls on top of the police car, and really cool scene.
Yeah, that's the whole teen sensations thing. They do use that term several times, so I think it's pretty obvious that it's similar to a Beatles situation, or even if you fast forward into later in the 90s, like the boy band situation where or even Michael Jackson in the 80s or whatever, like they're just obsessed and screaming and fainting, and but they're still probably banging behind the scenes, like
Yes.
that's what happens to Nate.
Does anyone know their sorry, Chris,
I guess.
their age? Is it 18, 19? Is that what they're supposed to be in the movie? Because they do say teen sensation, but I don't know if the Beatles were really that age.
That's a great
12.
question. Yeah, I mean, the Beatles at first, those first couple years were young, but I think it's clear that Guy is older than the rest of the guys.
I don't know the answer. I thought of this question in my head. They're all 18 to 22 because it's clear that they're out of high school, but they're also, when they play at that talent show, it's a college talent show, and they're talking about the college girls being out there. So again, just what I
they're
think.
drinking beers too. They drink beers at the restaurant. So
What was the college?
Mercy.
That's what Mercyhurst.
Yeah.
It's real.
And they, so I think that they're somewhere in that vicinity. But teen sensations, I think, refers more to the people listening than the fact that they are teenagers.
I realized that after it came out of my mouth, but you made me feel more dumb about it just by saying it out loud.
I wasn't trying to call you out.
No, I was going to ask the same question because I was going to tie it back to this 41-year-old dentist that is, I guess, in a romantic relationship with his former girlfriend who may or may not be under 18 or whatever the age she is. So that's why I kind of wanted to bring that up to see if you guys felt that was weird, but apparently not, according to Steve.
No, I think she's of legal age to date a 40-year-old dentist if that's her prerogative.
He looked old. He looked like he was getting up there.
I'll go on record and saying I still think it's weird, but
it is.
Yeah, but it's something that happens,
But dentists don't look like that. Like, have you had a dentist like that? I have not. I've
never
seen that.
I don't tend to go to the dentist, but I'm not. That was a very good looking dentist. You're right.
I go to a lot of dentists, and I've never seen a dentist like that.
Corey, I'd recommend go to the dentist. Get your teeth.
It was a hunky dentist.
I have an appointment actually on Friday.
Congratulations! There hasn't been such a handsome dentist since. Who was in Little Shop of Horrors? Steve Martin. Bill Murray. Yep. Steve Martin. Yeah.
Bill Murray was the patient.
That's right. I had them both somewhere in the brain.
One more thing too, and this kind of ties back to the conversation about the groupies, but this is more in line with the crowds and people. And it's really funny because when everybody starts dancing, I feel like they told everybody, hey, so this is what people in the 60s dance like. So everybody just do this. And that's what they did. Like the swim move. Like they started with that swim move first. Is that pretty accurate? Is that pretty much the go-to in like the 60s? Like, hey, let's just do this swim, the swim move.
They were swimming in the 60s.
Is that called shag dancing? Is that what that shit's called? Is that shag?
It's like a sock hop, Chris.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Silence, dead silence. Chris hates sock hops.
All these pre-skanking dances, they're not for me.
They don't mean shit.
Everybody was doing it. Everybody was doing that. So
it's an easy way to dance. Like if you're a shitty dancer, like nowadays, if you go to like a club and you like don't have good coordination, you can't do that shit. But back in the day, if you just needed to like put your hands up and below each other and go like this to make a swim move, like everybody could be a good dancer. I could be a good dancer.
What kind of dances are you going to?
The fact, Pee Wee Herman just kept it going, and it was still cool.
I want to go to these dances where people are blowing each other.
Yeah. Is that what you said?
That's what I heard.
That's what you said.
What?
Yeah, stop thinking out loud, Dan.
All right.
All right, let's go back to the characters in this movie. So, who do we want to hit next? You want to hit the tortured lead singer, the douchebag, Mr.
Yeah, I hated him.
Jimmy?
Can't stand him. First off, there's something weird about him that I just can't get over. This sounds so weird and dumb, but he just looks so hairy to me. Like he just looks like, I don't know. It just bothers me that he probably has so much hair and he just looks so creepy. And his eyes were kind of like, I don't know,
Like serial killer eyes?
Like cat eyes. And I don't know. He always, after I watched it back, he's always like staring out of the corner of his eyes at Guy. And it's just, I don't know. I hated him, and it never got better.
Do you think if you shook his hand, it would always be wet? Like he would be one of
a little
those
bit
guys
soft.
The wet hand. Okay.
Dead fish, wet hand. Well, here I wanted to say for him. I mean, so for me, there's parts of him I like and parts I don't. I mean, clearly he's like the songwriter and very dedicated to his craft, and
he's
like,
a tortured poet.
Yeah, that part of it.
Just trying to get a couple extra clicks on the podcast.
Very douchey about it. I mean, so his actual name in the movie, which you can just look at this name and you're like, okay, this guy's a douche. It's Jimmy Mattingly II.
Yeah.
You're being a bit harsh.
You know,
I don't think so.
All right.
I think to Corey's point, I thought about this a lot. I was talking about this before we came on here, was that I'm really into what someone decides to name their characters. And when I saw his name like that, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like kind of pompous and do himself ass.
Well, that's literally exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, cool. So, but the part of the movie where I think, or at least I realized, I was like, he sucks, is when they first start doing the state fairs. He is really into Diane Dane, and she is sound checking, and he's at the piano, and she sits on his lap, and he puts his arm down around the buttockle eye, and that for me is like a big part of the movie where I'm like, this dude sucks.
Because Faye was right in eye shot.
Exactly. Yep.
Can I ask you guys a question? So obviously this character is written to be a douchebag, right? He freaks out at his girlfriend. He breaks up the band. He's the tortured lead singer. He never wants to.
Very predictable.
Yeah, but so let me ask you a question. The reason why he gets very mad and ends up freaking out on his girlfriend is because someone in the production team, while they're on national television, writes, careful girls, he's engaged, when he's not engaged. So what do you guys honestly think about his, like, he was harsh and he was a dick. But like, what would you maybe have done, like, if you were him? I'm just curious what you guys think.
So, I mean, from a music industry standpoint, my brain goes straight to if that were a problem, and that's definitely a thing. I mean, there's some people that are probably married in bands, but their image is that like they're the guy that all the girls like, so they don't really push that. But for me, it's like if anyone was going to be mad about that, it was going to be their management. And so when he like doesn't believe her, and she actually, I think of all the acting in that movie from her, that's actually good acting where like it's believable that she's like just as like I didn't know that was going to happen as much as he is. And that's where Mr. White says that I told him that it was the guy that had character or whatever.
Got no class.
No class, exactly. So it's like if your management is the one that told them, then I don't understand why he would care. And that just definitely just cemented that like he never really loved her, and that was never going to work.
Okay. So the reaction was somewhat unwarranted, but because he didn't love her anyway, then it's ultimately
my reaction
best.
Being, if I were in his shoes, what I would have cared about is that my manager was about to come in and be like, "Yo, who told them that?" But it was the manager that told the producers of the show that. So
yeah, and I think I don't know if you guys read that. I don't know if it's in the Wikipedia and so hanging fruit. Sorry, but this happened to John Lennon. Underneath when they were playing somewhere, it might have been their production. It is marketing. It makes them more wantable by some people. It said, "Sorry, girls, he's married," under John Lennon's name, and they flashed him up. So that was kind of an homage to the Beatles there too.
Fantastic point.
Yeah,
they do that in K-pop right now too. None of them have relationships. They'll just live in weird dorms together, and nobody's doing anything. But they are. They are.
Nate is actually married.
I have 3 wives.
Stellar point, Nate. Stellar.
The other point.
Yeah, what,
And
what was the
anything-
original question? With the reaction, like you would have?
yeah, I was just curious, like, if you were in his shoes, like, how would you have reacted? I wouldn't have like attacked her and been like,
as an out. That was like an easy out for him.
yeah,
I guess like if that's what he was looking for, then fine. But I think it was over the top. Like I still don't think a human being reacts that way. I think you think about things a little bit differently. Yeah, you're a little ticked off because it's not necessarily the truth, but do you do that? Like I don't buy it.
Oh, not to shut you down on that, but in the however many years that I've been playing in bands with various people in various different places, you definitely come across some people that are real weird. Not myself included, but I definitely have met some people that would be real dramatic for no reason.
Fair. I get it.
They're not normal people. We are not normal people, Chris.
and he's got the lead singer syndrome. I mean, that's part of his personality, as we can tell.
And I'm not saying you're wrong either. You're totally right. These people suck.
I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing of him coming undone a little bit, I think and this is why I think that he thinks he's living in, well, I don't know if he thinks this, but he's kind of living in Guy's shadows. Even on the radio, when they go on the radio and the guy says, Guy Patterson and the Wonders, and he gets real pissed about that. I think that it's just a buildup of the unraveling of him not being able to control his like artistic image and not having the say in that. And that just comes to a boiling point. What'd you say, Corey?
Complete narcissist. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I if it was me, I would have just, said like that was weird. And then like later on in the evening, if it was an opportunity to break up with my girlfriend, I would have said that was weird, Dave, and it made me think. But I mean, he's obviously weird.
Yeah. And she was like dressed to the nines, like she was there supporting him. She was sick. They're in California. This is not the time period where it's like super easy to like travel via airfare. Like it was a major thing. He just flipped.
He wanted her there originally, right? Because Mr. White's like, "Who's Faye?" And he's like, "Well, it's my girlfriend." He's like, "Well, now she's a costume, whatever." Like he wanted her there originally, right?
One would assume. I mean, unless he wanted her not there, but just was too much of a pussy to say it. But we didn't see that. Who else we got? You want to talk about Tom Hanks? Oh, Chris.
Real
What
quick.
I'll say too, and this is definitely relatable, is like there are, and I don't want any girlfriends or wives out there to take this the wrong way, but that is a very real thing, and I think Yoko is the greatest example, and maybe she was supposed to somehow portray that a little bit. At least she wasn't on stage making weird sounds, but like that is a thing that can really send stuff awry, is like the dudes in bands that like have the wife or girlfriend that's like always around and always like inserting themselves into stuff. Just saying.
She seemed to be pretty chill though, from what they showed us.
Yeah, but that's why he sucks so bad. She was his like number one fan until they were big, and then he wanted to get away from it when he found the celebrity part of it. He just sucked.
I feel like this is super relatable for me, especially when I'm hanging out with you guys, because your wives, oh boy, they're always around. I hate them. They suck.
Listen, when we started High School Never Ends and we got like so big that we just can't be stopped in the streets, like Chris and I both like stayed true to our wives, just for the record. We both did.
Thank you.
What, you're married?
My wife is awesome and doesn't care about shows or whatever.
Yeah, I'll back up. Selena's pretty cool. She is never around. That's why she's cool.
My wife is cool too, and I'm not just because if I didn't, I would be in trouble.
One last thing on Jimmy though, like, so you guys brought up a good point about his creative frustrations. And does this band, are they allowed to play any more than one song? Like you get the feeling throughout the movie that they basically just get the hook after they play their song. Are they playing full sets? Like what are we supposed to think here?
Well,
I think the whole thing, right? Like the state fair, they were only playing That Thing You Do. It was like this Playtone showcase where they were like ripping. Everyone was just playing their big songs, and that was a big problem with him. He throughout the movie, he wants to make a new record. That's like what he keeps talking about. And honestly, the other songs in the movie are great in my opinion.
I think that Chris, I had the exact same thought, because if I am an attendee at a state fair like if each band is only doing one song, like what is that, like a fucking hour set? Like that's not really a show. You would think that they would have 2 songs, 3 songs they do before their big hit, and then they do it, but they do only play that several times. But I really like the fact that they do sprinkle in a couple other originals. They have a song called Little Wild One. There was All My Own Dreams was a slow one that was the B-side. When they're playing at Villa Pianos, you hear a couple of songs. And the song where Lenny is the lead, the Dance With Me Tonight song, that song's fucking awesome, dude. That song is just as good as That Thing You Do. Tell your mama that you're leaving.
Okay. Hey, also, Mr. White, they ask him about that when he's playing the state fairs. They're like, what if they want an encore? What do we do? And he's like, you unplug your instruments and get the hell off stage, you know?
Mr. White. Let's go to Mr. White. All right. We're getting through these chapters here. Tom Hanks wrote this movie, put himself in. How does he do playing the somewhat sleazy, somewhat lovable agent? Chris, why don't we start with you on Tom Hanks? Sorry.
I just think like he's just there. I mean, he's just that he's that character. That's really as far as it goes. Like I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not a big Tom Hanks fan. Like I think he's fine, and I know that people.
Tom Hanks got COVID brilliant. For all of us.
I don't care about Tom Hanks at all. Like I don't think he's that. In my opinion, I don't find him that interesting. Let me put it that way, right?
I agree with you, Chris, there.
So, but in terms of the character, I think he just played the character as the character should be played. Like he was that manager. He was the manager of a band, for a major company, and that's really it. So I don't have anything else to say about that.
I think I'm not like a Tom Hanks super fan, but I also do kind of think that like he kind of can almost do no wrong, kind of like Tom Everett Scott. Like he's really good in like everything that he's in, and I kind of enjoy him in everything that he's in. Again, not a super fan.
Were you a fan of him in Splash?
I didn't. That's an older one. And listen, he got COVID for all of us to tell us that it's okay and you can survive. So I thank him for that. But I think that he did a pretty good job managing that band and playing that slick record executive, the kind of assholic guy. I told you guys look great in red. If he told you look great in gold, if he told you look great in black.
He touched on it, and he did a great job of walking that line of like he cares about the band and he's kind of sleazy.
Which brings me to a question I wanted to ask you guys. So towards the end of the movie, Jimmy quits the band. He gets upset because Tom Hanks tells them that they need to record some songs from the Playtone catalog. And Jimmy just wants to do his own thing. He doesn't want the direction. And he points out that they have a record contract that states that they need to do this. And if you don't do that, then, here's the door. Like, is Tom Hanks, is he the asshole there? In that scenario, who's the asshole? Is it Jimmy or is it Mr. White?
Jimmy. It's Jimmy, 100%.
Yeah, it's Jimmy.
I mean, because Mr. White, he knows that it's like a machine and it's formulaic. And at that time period, that's what artists did. They would have a hit, and maybe not like a catalog they were on, but the Beatles would play covers on some of their recordings, and that's part of the formula of getting your name more tossed around in the main plays of the radio. And I don't know, it just obviously Playtone was one of the largest imaginary record labels at the time. I just think he was a no BS, like, hey, you signed up for this. I know what I'm doing. I got you here so far. Shut up and record the songs.
I agree. I think that he's kind of just doing his job, and he doesn't go to that, hey guys, you're under a fucking contract, do what I say, until he's pushed to the point. So I wanted to pose the question, but I kind of had my answer as well. I think that he's, he has to be that strong voice that says like, okay, well, if you're going to be a dick about it, then you're under contract, do this or you're fucking out of here.
Yeah. And also the other thing that, recording That Thing You Do in Spanish is like, that's a very normal thing and still to today happens. And, some of that, even in today's world, that music is the biggest music in the world. So it's becoming even kind of like coming back, that bands are re-recording songs in other languages. So that's not even that weird of a thing. But yeah, at the end of the day, sign a contract and read the contract, and I'm sure in there, it talked about stuff like this, and you make a commitment, and yeah, he didn't keep his commitment. And also, what bothers me the most about it is that, like, in his head, he's this amazing songwriter, and he's going to go on to do this solo thing, and we've heard that story a million. But it's like you're not considering the rest of your band, and you could tell he never even thought about them.
Yeah, there was no band meeting before him quitting. Like, hey guys, let's talk about this. He considered the band him.
Whereas if you remember when Guy sat down with Mr. White originally about signing the contract, Guy says, I need to sit down with the band and talk to them about this. And he said, I told you he was smart. So I think that's kind of supposed to be important.
Oh, with camper van Guy. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, the Beatles like in their early days, they recorded "I Want to Hold Your Hand" and "She Loves You" in German. Like I don't think it's that strange. So he sucks. Just a psycho, a hairy psycho.
Dude, that thing you do would kill in Spanish. Like when you say the word "you," it's tu. It tracks. It would be great.
There you have it.
Sorry, Nate. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to first bring up this point that I agree with Matt about what he said about people with too much hair. That's not something I'm saying as a bald man. It's just when you see somebody with a real strong hairline, you can't trust them. The other thing I wanted to say is that I said this at the beginning, I think. The scene where he quits is one of my least favorite. Even when it happened, when I saw it as a young person, I hated it. And I think that if he was like a songwriter, he could have done a little bit better than that in quitting.
I quit.
Yeah, I quit. I quit.
I kind of like that.
Quit.
I thought that was funny.
I would have done something real good on it with like some hair metal vocals and stuff. Like, I quit.
They're like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. I'm out.
That one works too.
Also iconic. Yeah.
Anybody else want to talk? You want to talk about Lenny?
Well, something with Mr. White, and this is kind of funny because I rented this movie off of Amazon Prime, and I didn't know it was like 48 hours only. So I went back and I rented after that, it was like the Tom Hanks extended version, and I only watched that for like 15 minutes before my wife was like, "You're gonna have no idea, like you're gonna be talking about stuff they don't know." And in one of the scenes, and I don't want to ruin this for anyone, but it alludes to Tom Hanks being gay or Mr. White being gay. Yeah, he gets picked up by like this hunky guy outside of the hotel after guy goes out and gets drunk with Del Paxton, and the guy's like, "Bring him with us," and it's like, "Oh, okay, now I see it." So that was I don't know why they purposely cut that one, but the extended version I plan on watching maybe tomorrow.
I liked in the extended version that I watched, there's a good like 10 minutes longer of like the ant scene with the battle. So that was my favorite part of the extended version.
We'll cut that.
Cut that. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in 1996, when the movie came out, I think having main characters be gay might have been a little bit more taboo. I didn't pick up on it, but it wouldn't have bothered me. I don't really care.
Yeah, for sure. And I think
it might just not have been important.
Like, it's not important to the plot at all. Yeah, so probably just got it.
And Matt, listen, if you spent like $6 to watch two different versions of this movie because of this podcast, like maybe all five of us will split that with you. Can you send me your Venmo? I'll give you like $1.15, and let me contribute. I appreciate you.
I love it. Yeah, I'm so glad we're back here, because watching this movie now as an adult again, I'm like, man, what a freaking great movie.
It's a bit of a bummer that it's not available for free. So anybody who rented it out there to watch it and study, thank you, and thank Amazon Prime, thanks you, or wherever you watch it. I have the DVD, so I just put it in my PlayStation 3, which sounds like a spaceship because it's so loud, but I just rewatched it on that.
Oh, nice. It'll be free next week. You watch.
Most likely, yeah. Chris, the next one that we're doing is actually available for free, so that'll be nice.
Don't you think, though, like, in a piece of that is, like, this movie does not really delve at all deep into anything social or political of the time period. Like, it doesn't, like, maybe a little bit with the, like, he's going to be a Marine, but they don't really talk about the 60s at all. Like, that's not a part of this. And so, maybe they just wanted to stay away from that theme in the, just to kind of keep it above board and keep it just as smooth as they could in terms of their story. I don't know what else.
That goes to what we were talking about earlier, like who was this movie marketed to? And I think it's probably marketed to an age group that stuff doesn't matter to. I personally am usually a fan of movies not going there unless they go there with what I agree with, but I think that's everyone. But
Well, at least
yeah,
the purpose.
obviously the anti-war thing and everything, but also I think the band's that movement was such a big part and was so entangled in music, but not so much in that like sugar pop world where that was like the straight business kind of arm of the music industry. And this, yeah, kind of foreshadowed. I mean, a lot of those people on the Playtone, they talk about like, oh, that you guys have a record that's actually climbing the charts. So like, I feel like this was kind of during a time where like this type of music is kind of on the way out, where that more politically, focused music is kind of on a rise.
And I think where it doesn't really talk about socioeconomic issues of the 60s, it does expose, the things that are going on in the music industry. I think that's where that's the wheelhouse of the movie. It maybe in the 60s, nobody realizes that. And again, the movie came out in the 90s, but, shitty executives, the what's his name, eating the deli and not giving a fuck about the actual bands, and the crappy interviews that hey guys, we have the Wonders here. Hi. Okay, bye. And like, it exposes a couple of, interesting things about the music industry, but not larger socioeconomic issues.
If I interrupted your lunch, you wouldn't be happy with me. Like, if you were eating an egg salad sandwich, you probably would spit it all over me too.
I have this one person that I work with who only calls me during lunchtime. Like the only time she ever calls me is like while I'm eating lunch, to the point where I answer and I'm like, "Oh, so you realize I'm eating lunch?" And it just keeps happening.
Do you react like that guy?
She's actually a pretty cool person, so I just kind of give her some shit about it. We laugh about it, and then we move on. Still friends.
Boring. Okay.
All right, let's wrap up these characters here. Is there anybody else you want to talk about? Lenny? You want to talk about Steve
yes,
Zahn?
I love Lenny.
Best character.
Matt, go ahead.
Corey, you said he's your favorite?
He's possibly the best character. I mean, Guy's going to be my favorite, but the most entertaining is Lenny, probably.
Yeah, I love him. Two of my favorite parts of the movie is when Guy's talking about being crazy in the Erie Pen. He's like, "Yeah, one time in Erie we stayed up past midnight." And he's
I got written down as one of my favorite quotes. Yeah,
and when they're on stage, and he's like, "Well, the thing is, we're not the Wonders. We're Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters."
No, they ask him what their musical influences are on the radio, and he says Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters.
They just shot that freaking movie, and I love that guy. He really digs into the Midwest accent too, really digging in on that, and I like that
for sure.
I mean, he's the lovable goof, and I think he plays that character to a T. And I think Steve Zahn's a pretty good actor. He was good in White Lotus. He was just on that. I think he was in the first season. But he plays in. He's got a lot of memorable lines, and later we'll get into quotes and stuff like that. But I feel like this is a movie that's like doesn't have a whole lot of like major quotes to it. But a lot of the quotes that I remember are his lines for sure.
He was in White Lotus.
Yeah, he was in. Was he in the? I forget the seasons. I mean,
he the dad? Was he a dad?
He was the dad on the one where they were like at the pool with Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Yeah,
that was the first.
I really don't like that show, but he's the most
struck a chord.
Tom Hanks, right? Of like all the actors in this. I mean, Ethan Embry had a short run, but he's in a lot of stuff. Dallas Buyers Club and a bunch of stuff. Like I see that guy in
what's his name?
Steve Zahn.
Steve Zahn.
Yeah, he's been in stuff. He's character guy, character actor. I guess.
Fox is going www.imdb.com.
www.stevezahn.com.
He's great.
I thought he had the best quotes. Honestly, I thought he's had some funny stuff to say to Jimmy. I think the one was. He told him he was going to go write I'm alone in my principles or something.
His next hit song, yeah.
Yeah, go write your battle alone in my principles. I like him. What a goof.
Yes. Anybody else to talk about?
Did we talk about the bassist guy?
Not a whole lot, but go ahead.
I don't know if there's anything to say. Like he was just kind of like a side character that did his thing and did a lot of push-ups, and then he was gone and replaced by Wolfman. So
Good old Wolfman.
I like
Ethan-
Wolfman better.
Ethan Embry is the only one that actually had any experience playing. He actually did play bass a little bit before the movie, apparently. So that's just a little snippet.
Yeah,
I
it is
just-
cool. Corey was talking about this. I forgot to add on to this. But yeah, when you watch them play, it is awesome, dude. They every time they're playing like the chords like at every point, and that's probably why. I mean, subconsciously, it's also believable and likable, is because it seems so natural. You don't even need to be a musician to like know that it looks natural, and it's crazy because you can. After watching it, I was like, oh, I know how to play that song, and I went and played it on guitar. Pretty cool.
Now coming soon to
Bryan
the
Cranston
Emo Band
is
set list.
not-
That thing
you
you
guys-
do.
You guys notice that Bryan Cranston is the astronaut?
Oh yeah,
Oh, you stole my thunder. I totally wanted to point that out. I didn't ever notice that until yesterday when I rewatched the movie for the last time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. White, huh? Mr. White,
See,
Thanks. Thank you.
there it is.
We can kick Nate out of here any time you want, guys.
I'm not helpful.
Well, you didn't watch the movie in 5 years, so
It's
I
been
mean,
over 5 years, but it's all coming. When Corey talks about it, it builds it in my head again.
but that goes to. I mean, that's why I love. I mean, I learned about this from Death of a Salesman, I guess, when I was a kid. And what's the guy? The main. I'm shitting on myself because what's the main
Mr.
character
White
name in
I
that?
think. No.
No, they call him like Johnny or Jimmy or like some kind of little kid name, and that's when I fell in love with like how authors write their names. And yeah, Mr. White in this movie could represent like pureness or like the greatness and the vast whiteness. I don't know. I just love looking at people's names. Like Faye. What did Faye? What was?
Hey, Matt, I actually can tell you exactly why his name is Mr. White.
Oh, cool.
So the original idea was based off the Beatles' rise, and so there was a dude that filled in. Ringo didn't play on "Love Me Do," and there was a guy that played on that song whose name is Andy White, and that is where Tom Hanks got Mr. White from.
Awesome. I like it.
Awesome.
I think we got through everybody. Anything
That's
else, characters wise, need to be brought up, talked about? No,
Just the bellhop. He was amazing.
the bellhop. Yeah,
Important character, man. Yeah, just such a cool guy. I feel like I meet that guy like once every 7 days. Where I'm like, man, what a cool dude.
Yeah,
Even though he like really he creepily stared at them for a little bit too long.
yeah. But he was almost
Never.
a magical character coming into their lives to like help guide them at like this like outburst of their.
Yeah. He's like, it's like, is that guy? Did he exist?
Yeah, exactly. One more thing about characters. I thought it was kind of weird that Tom Hanks didn't. Is that his wife? That's like the slutty ass waitress that tries picking up guy.
I do believe that is his wife. Yeah,
Wife in real life?
Yes.
A real wife?
real life.
she didn't do too good a job. She was just making it really obvious that she was into him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, I do have a couple cool facts to bring up. If you guys
Do
are
it.
cool with that.
Let's
Yeah.
go for it.
So in the liner notes of the album, which by the way, Tom Hanks did make Playtone an official. It is a label, and it put out all of his soundtracks, but it also put out like the Sopranos soundtrack was put out on it, and let's see here,
Big
That's
Band of
what else.
Brothers.
Yeah, so there's like other soundtracks, like it's like a legitimate label that puts out soundtracks. Let's see here. In the liner notes of the record, though, it says that this song reached number 2 and that Mr. White becomes president of Playtone Records. So,
That's cool.
yeah, that's a cool
That's
thing to put in the liner notes, I think, to kind of wrap it up. The Hollywood Showcase show that was actually filmed at the Price is Right soundstage.
I didn't know that.
Let's see here. There were 2 bands from that time period that were called the Wonders in that like region too. Both were semi-successful regionally. One was in Iowa and one was in Ohio. And they're most definitely probably somehow based off of the Beatles and them. How Tom Hanks knew about them, don't really know that. There is an emo band from Buffalo called Del Paxton, named after Bill Cobb's character. I didn't listen to them, but I plan on it. I came across that today.
Del Paxton's fictional. Then I didn't look into it, but that's a fictional character.
Del Paxton is fictional, yeah. everybody and all the music is, and it was all because of licensing. Tom Hanks was like, I'm not gonna pay for any of this.
Love it.
But this is maybe the coolest thing. And I talked a lot about how I thought that it was so important that they like hung out as a band before and took those lessons before like doing the movie thing. But the movie was actually filmed in sequence so that it felt to them like it was happening.
That's awesome.
That is
Yeah.
cool. I like that.
I think the only scene that was filmed out of sequence is the RV being outside. That's like the one scene that they filmed like not in sequence.
Cool.
Dude, that's really cool. It's like kind
Yeah,
of
good stuff.
behind the scenes.
Speaking of scenes, Steve, I think this might be a good time where maybe we each pick a standout. Let's just pick one scene, right, that you feel like stands out to you. Like, well, maybe if it's just a personal feeling, or you think it's just a really good scene in the movie. Like, let's just all kind of go around and talk about our not our favorite scene, but something that stands out to us.
Can I go first since I didn't watch it more recently?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Nate's like, I just have one thing that I remember, and I don't want anybody else to say it before I do.
Nobody take it.
Hey guys, can I bring up a scene from a different movie right now?
So I liked my favorite was when they did get the Wolfman to play the bass for him, when they wanted to make sure he could play and he fucking just shreds on it for a while. That was cool. And I like that.
All the instruments in the movie too are actually vintage. Like that bass he's playing is like a 57 key bass or something. Super awesome.
Damn.
The bassist talks about the bass scene. What do you know?
Sorry, it's just
Big
like
surprise.
Well, I feel like I like it because it does have that kind of vibe of like small town band. Like, oh yeah, do you have someone that can possibly play
Can
our
you play
fucking
my
bass part?
tune?
And then they have a session player come in and just kick ass at him, whatever he does. Like that is the way the business works. And yeah, you can be replaced by a
Do you
Wolfman.
even play our song?
Fox, what do you think? What's some standout scene to you?
I think one of the cooler scenes. I think this is what he says. It's real small, but Lenny's on stage, and we've been fortunate enough. And Corey plays much bigger shows, and Nate's played a lot of shows too. But we've been fortunate enough to play some shows where you're just like, what is going on? Like, this is amazing. And he looks back at Guy and he says, how did we get here? And I think that's like one of my favorite parts, to be like, it's hitting him of like, dude, how lucky are we to be here? And like, just living in the moment. I like that part.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Corey?
I would say mine probably is towards the end of the movie where Guy goes to he asked the bellhop if they have any good jazz, and he asks him a question, he gets it right, so he says, take this man to the blue spot, and he goes there and ends up hanging out with his idol Del Paxton. And that scene to me is just so cool because it's just cool always to like kind of get advice from your idol. Sometimes it works out, sometimes you end up wishing you never met them, but that time was just cool, and it just shows that, for me it was just cool. Obviously I like the drums and everything, but it showed that like Guy was just such a fan of music and drums. It was his passion, it's what he loved to do, and he's drunk as hell, and he says, to Del Paxton, you're my biggest fan, meaning like I'm your fan. And it's just that scene to me is just really important to kind of wrap up Guy's character, that like this dude just got to live out his dream. He made it to the top and still was in it for the right reasons, and was just a good person and a good dude that just loves drums and loves jazz.
Steve?
I think there are 4 scenes that, to me, like a standout scene is like if I go to see this movie, or if I see this movie for the first time, and it's like a scene that just sticks in my head and I remember. I think there are 4 of them that can kind of define the movie, at least in my opinion. It's the talent show scene where they first play the song Fast. It's the signing in the RV with the fucking stew. It's the first time that they hear the song on the radio, and they all go crazy. And then the final, when they play on TV and they're doing the different camera angles, I think those are the scenes that stand out most to me, and the ones that I would remember. All that all that stuff that you said about like the cool little things. Listen, those are scenes and those are valid for whatever. But in terms of standout, I think those are like the main ones that I think get born into my brain.
Can I add on one too? Because just thinking about this.
No. That's it. Finish.
He got four. He got four, and you're gonna add on one.
Well, I was just gonna say, at the end, I wondered if this was even written with their name being thought of in advance. When they're breaking up in the studio, and I think Mr. White calls them one-hit wonders, and I'm like, oh shit, like that's pretty cool. Is that why they were named the Wonders the whole time? And
Real quick, some names that were considered before they came to the Wonders were Mom's Hot Dish, the Lords of Erie, Jimmy in this, Jimmy in that, the Hanks, and Phase Addiction were all considered by Tom Hanks.
What about the Herdsman with an Heard?
So that they talked about that in the movie,
Right.
And they had a couple other ones, but
The Chord Vets.
Yes, the Chord Vets. There was one about the something about the senses, the hears or herds or something. Right?
The Herdsman.
Oh yes, but yeah, exactly. But these, I don't think those were ever actually considered to like be the name of the band.
those are like Tom Hanks considered that to be possible as
right instead of the Wonders. Yeah.
Phase Addiction.
The Hanks is what he considered. Really?
He considered the Hanks. Yeah.
Wow. That would have been something else.
Maybe
like
Gene addiction has something to do with Phase Addiction. Who knows?
My favorite scene was a scene from Pittsburgh because it was Pittsburgh. They got so excited about Pittsburgh, and I'm from Pittsburgh, and I'd be excited too to play here, of course. I don't know if they were anywhere in particular. I was trying to figure out where they were, but I guess it was hard to really identify that in the 60s because I have no idea what Pittsburgh looked like.
Right.
In
I think
detail.
it might have been the Benedum or something like that.
Oh no, that club. No, I looked it up. That club it was called like the Orpheum or something, and it did exist in McKee's Rocks, I believe, at the time.
Well,
That's
then
where the Roxy is, right
dude.
now.
That's the Roxy.
It might have, yeah, it might be that one, but I did look up. That was like a plot gap, I guess, is that
It was a vaudeville club.
it closed in 1961, and they're supposed to be playing there in 64, I think.
That's
But
wild because that is the Roxy. You just put that together.
yeah,
That's crazy.
Wow,
Yeah.
I've been there.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
There we go. We just solved
Why
it.
would we ride that harder?
Vicksburg's in the Pittsburgh.
There it is. But that was a great scene. So I mean, yeah, of course, it wasn't great for them, but it was.
Well, you know what, Nate? You can
Yes.
actually relate to that. Like when you were a musician up in that area, was like playing Pittsburgh. Was that like a huge deal?
It was the biggest deal. I remember I got to play in Pittsburgh when I was like 16, and the promoter there at the time, I won't say who it was, but he told me I'd never play in Pittsburgh ever again because we were late because there was a storm, whatever. But yeah, it was the biggest thing I've ever done in my life.
Pretty cool.
I mean, not like up to now, at the time.
Nate's
Yeah.
played in Pittsburgh a lot.
Realistic.
I love Pittsburgh.
That's Nate. That's like cliche, like evil promoter speak. What he said to you.
It was, yeah, it sucked. He called. I mean, I'm not gonna get into it. I'm mad now.
Don't get into it.
I'm not.
That's
Why were you late?
We had a microburst hurricane. I'm not gonna get into it.
Sure.
I
He's
know
not-
who
he's
you're
not gonna
talking
get into
about, and he's not. He's. It does sound stereotypical, but this dude was stereotypical.
Yes. Mhm.
All right. Well, like I guess one last thing, like this was an actual soundtrack that came out. There were more songs on it than the one song, That Thing You Do. There were a handful of songs that were by the Wonders. I think the vibe of the soundtrack is 60s, right? Anything else that you guys want to talk about about the rest of the music around the album?
Well, Corey might. I don't know this. I didn't look into this at all. Did Adam Schlesinger write other songs or just
So mainly, he just wrote That Thing You Do.
okay?
But yeah, there were a couple other writers, and the one fella. So yeah, the whole movie is scored. I'm trying to find. I have something written down here about it. Yeah, I mean the soundtrack peaked at number 21, like actually on the Billboard charts. Yeah, Schlesinger wrote That Thing You Do, and Howard Shore wrote a lot of stuff, and he is mostly famous for the scores for Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. So that's a little bit out of his comfort zone. But yeah, I think he mostly, and there's another guy with him. They're like a kind of a writing team that kind of tackled a lot of the other songs. But yeah, I mean, it's a really good soundtrack. Even the recordings and stuff, they're modern to the time, but like did a good job of it feeling like the 60s. Like they didn't do the production full 60s, like drums sounded too good and stuff like that. But they still kept it, I think, enough in line.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're talking about the soundtrack, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if we did glaze over it, but the song "That Thing You Do" is so freaking good, man. What a perfectly written. Like he was given the task to sound like that era, and what a perfect song. Everything, the chord structure to the melody, but like perfect.
They wrote a hit 60 song. They did.
Yep.
I love that song. I think that as many times as I've heard it in the movie, watching the movie, Newfound Glory covered it, but I don't really get sick of it. As you know, it's a little bit cheesy and whatever, but I still love it. I can't get enough.
It's funny. Like thinking about when I was talking about it, we were coming on this podcast and just talking about this movie in general, and it really does mirror how people treat the Beatles in a way that when you talk about this movie, there's a lot of different people that come from a lot of different aspects of life that love the song in the movie, which I think is awesome because you can bring it up and they're like, "Oh man, that song's awesome." Just like the Beatles, you can run into anyone and be like, "Oh, I love that song." I don't know.
To your point, there's an interview where they all went to there's like a minor league team in Erie and they did like a panel thing and they talked about how like, you know, all their other movies, like they usually can tell like if it's like the hipster looking kid, he's gonna say Empire Records, you know, these kind of things. But they're like, this is the one movie we were all in where like any type of person can walk up to us and That Thing You Do is the movie they're gonna say.
That's awesome. Yeah, they have the night the Erie Seawolves, I believe.
Something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, they won promotion of the year from Baseball Digest for having the Wonders Night. Now it's like an annual thing, I believe. It raises money for charity, over like $250,000.
Very cool.
It's awesome. And
Nate, I thought you'd be dropping Erie facts left and right here, but you've been doing a lot of nothing.
You keep saying that, dude. I've been sending you all these facts.
You said I farted 20 minutes into the podcast.
I would not.
he would never.
Yeah.
And I did want to ask you guys before we kind of start to wrap things up. You know, we mentioned that there are post-credit scenes or whatever at the very end that tell us what the fates of each of these individuals are. So I'll read a couple, unless you have them, Corey. Do you want to read them?
Yeah, I don't know. You go for it.
I took pictures of while I was watching the DVD.
They're great.
And so Guy and Faye Patterson were married April 30th, 1965. They raised 4 children in Venice, California before moving to Bainbridge Island, Washington. They founded the Puget Sound Conservatory of Music, where Guy teaches jazz composition. So they get married, they have kids, and he teaches jazz. James Mattingly II and his new band, the Herdsmen, made 3 gold albums for the Playtone label, and he's now a record producer in L.A. T.B. Player, bassist, served 2 tours of duty in Vietnam, receiving the Purple Heart for wounds sustained at the siege of Khe Sanh. And he now is a building contractor in Orlando, Florida. Lenny is the manager of the Golden Eagle Hotel and Casino in Laughlin, Nevada, and he's currently single. So that's how they wrap up all of the characters. Are we okay with that? I feel like that's fine end stories for those guys. I like that they wrapped it up and gave us a fast forward. What do you guys think?
I love it.
Mhm.
And it's that Mr. White's isn't there, but then they put it in the liner notes that he became the president of Playtone.
I like that. I wish they kind of would have put that in there. I feel like he deserved a. Maybe they were just keeping it to the band members.
Well, I liked it too because it was really, I think, true to life is with Mr. White and Jimmy's relationship. If you just watch the movie and didn't see that, you're like, oh, well, he ruined his chances. But in reality, that probably happens a lot more than you think, is that Mr. White was like, okay, this guy can still serve me. Because their band was on Playtone, right? Did you say that?
Yep.
Yeah. So
which means Jimmy came back to the same label. Yep.
Yeah. And Mr. White probably still worked with them and said like, hey, you know, what have you done for me lately kind of attitude. And I think that really happens a lot. You would think like, oh, this guy just ruined his chances, but he just goes on to probably be just as big of a prick, but just more popular.
Yeah.
Nathaniel, Chris?
I have no. I mean, I wrote a little thing I want to button it up with, but I don't have any important stuff to say.
What are you asking me, Steve, about the?
Are you happy with where these characters ended up?
Oh yeah, I was thinking about that, and then I was thinking about something else. Yeah, so I'll tell you what. Like the only thing I'll have to say is this, and you guys pretty much said, you said it all. But do you think that Guy and Jimmy ever became like friends again? Like, do we feel like they just went their separate ways, or do you think that I know that the end credits don't allude to that at all, but do these guys ever talk again?
I would love it if they made another movie where they're doing the casino market
Circuit.
Yeah, the Wonders are now playing casinos and cruises.
I mean, that said,
The Wonders are opening for Everclear and Lit.
I mean, so it's funny that Jimmy breaks up with Faye, and not a day later, the best friend swoops in and takes her away. So
that was fate, meant to be.
Hard feelings there by Jimmy, like, hey man, like, yeah, you're not really there supposed to do that.
Nah, Jimmy's big time. Jimmy's moved on.
He's you say that, but
he should have dumped her in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I like to think that he matured, and later in life he would say, like, yeah, I didn't deserve Faye, and like, you deserve her, and now we're gonna meet up and play Rivers Casino. Let's hit it.
I mean, honestly, I kind of like respect Guy for like, because he didn't make any moves until it was okay, technically, you know? And I think that's a thing that happens a lot. I mean, Jesse's Girl, there's a song about it, you know?
He's Jim. He's Jim. She's Pam.
You know? It's true.
That's a good, I like that parallel.
He's Jim Halpert.
What was her husband's name? Or fiance, the big jerk?
Roy. That was Roy.
Yeah, Roy and Jim weren't friends, though.
No, not really, yeah.
I mean, but were Jimmy and Guy really friends? I mean, Guy was kind of a hired gun, you know? He was a last resort, but he took them to the next level because he was smarter than them.
Yeah, that's interesting because, like, throughout this whole movie, Lenny's the only one that can really, like, get at Jimmy and rib him straight to his face. I feel like Guy and the bass player couldn't do that because I don't think they were friends. I think that Lenny and Jimmy are the only ones that were, like, kind of friends throughout.
And Lenny was the only one that was really friends with Guy.
Yeah,
because he specifically mentions like points in their past. Lenny seems like the guy who was friends with. I assume they all went to high school together, or they went to the high schools in a close proximity. And Lenny seems to be the one that knew them all, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He definitely was one that knew Guy. He even knew his uncle.
That's right. He knew the uncle who recorded
Uncle
the music.
Bob that, you know, records church music. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Chris Isaac?
Was it?
I don't know.
I think it was.
You stumped us.
Do we know who that is? You guys know Chris Isaac?
I know who Chris Isaac.
I know who Chris Isaac
I know
is.
the name.
You don't know Wicked Game, Steve? Wingman Steve?
Yeah, I think I do.
Chris Isaac.
We can sing it for you if you
Yeah,
like.
let's do it. All four of us.
Go ahead. In unison.
Yeah.
We'll do it after this next segment because it's time for ranking it, Steve. I know you wanted to derail us and sing some Chris Isaac, which I'd love to do, but this is the point in the show where we're going to rank some things and we're going to make it really easy for everybody here. So we're not going to go 3, 2, 1 or anything like that. What I'm going to ask you guys to do is just basically give your tops, your number one in each of these 3 categories, and then an overall score. Okay, from 1 to 10. So basically what I'm going to ask you guys to do one after another is give your favorite scene. Remember I said earlier, not when we talked about standout's different than favorite. It could parallel, but favorite scene, favorite song, favorite quote, and then give a score between 1 and 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. So Matt, you're on the farthest right of my screen. Why don't you go first?
Okay, yeah. Favorite scene, I will say that someone had mentioned it, but it was that Lenny turning around at that huge show and saying, "How did we get here?" Plus the whole scene of them hearing their song for the first time on the radio. I think anyone that's experienced that, I've never had.
Wait, Matt. You have to one favorite. Pick the favorite.
okay.
You can't pick two favorites. You
well,
just said two separate scenes.
All right, then
one,
yeah, I'm
just
going
one.
to stick with my one. I'm going to stick with my one. That brief moment of how did we get here was such a cool moment to me. Favorite song? I mean, it's just that thing you do. Am I going in order correctly here, Chris?
You're good.
Favorite quote is when they're on the radio show and they're being asked about the inspirations, and he keeps referencing Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters. That's hilarious. And giving anything a 10 is hard because that's perfect. But for what this movie set out to be, I mean, I think that especially after seeing the extended pieces, everything seemed additive to me. So I'll give it a 9.
Wow. 9. That's strong.
I mean, it
That's
doesn't.
fair.
It for what it is meant to be. It's not. I don't think it was meant to be political or inspiring thought change or anything like that. It's just a pleasurable movie about that era. So 9.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, cool. So Nate, you're next on my list here.
Thank you so much. I would say this is a weird one. I mean, I already said I like the Wolfman scene, but I'll say I remember laughing as a kid whenever the original drummer hurts himself. Isn't he jumping over thingamajigs and falls down?
He's jumping over like a meter, like a street parking meter.
I remember I laughed at that as a kid, so I'll say that's my favorite. I'm going to say That Thing You Do has to be the song. And I'm going to... so you said a scale from 1 to 10.
Quote.
Oh, quote?
Quote, yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be a verbatim quote, but I liked all that stuff where they were like trying to figure out what to call the band. They called them the Oneaters. That was pretty funny.
Okay.
When they were trying to be one O-N-E, Oneaters. Then on a 1 to 10, I'm going to give it, I mean, in a world where there's like Citizen Kanes and Jurassic Parks out there, I'm giving this a 6.
Okay, it's a fair score. 6.
Thank you. See?
Better than average. Better than average.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I enjoy it, so it's going to be better than a 5.
There you go. All right, Corey, you're up.
Oh, no.
He lost his audio.
I think
Where you
you're
at?
muted too, brother.
Need the mute.
Favorite scene is first.
Favorite scene is first. Yes.
So yeah, mine's gonna be crossover. I kind of misunderstood that last one. So that where he's hanging out with Del Paxton, and that whole scene at the Blue Spot is definitely my favorite scene of the movie. Second is quote.
Quote, song. The
Song.
order is
You
not
can do
that
either
important.
or,
yeah,
but
song,
you go for song.
That thing you do, it solidified my journey of loving Adam Schlesinger and finding a lot of his songs that I love to today.
Okay.
So definitely
Cool.
that. And then is quote next.
It is.
So I think I'm going to correct kind of, no offense, Bucks, but I think the quote that you're alluding to is Lenny turns around and he says, "Well, take us there, Skitch." On that big stage when they first played the state fairs.
No, this is like towards the end of the movie. Let me.
Oh, okay. Then never mind. But so this is my favorite. It's when it kind of that one line to me shows that Lenny understands, in that it's insinuating like, yo, Guy is why we're here, and he's gonna take us there. So that to me is my favorite quote. And score of movie 1 through 10 is gonna be 100 for me. Just because this movie is such an important part of what made me take this music journey in my life. So if I'm being honest, from like a movie standpoint, if I'm taking all the bias aside, I probably fall in around 7 or something. But to me, it's there's no score in this world that's even I can give it, because it's a very important movie to me.
But that counts. I think that counts 100%.
Yeah.
So, you're justified 1,000% in saying that. So, because I feel like there's movies that I have nostalgia for that probably aren't necessarily ranked as high as what I would rank them.
Totally.
And it's for those reasons. Okay, I will go next, and Steve, you can wrap us up. I think that I'm gonna say favorite scene for me. I already said the Pittsburgh one for the standout scene. So I don't know, the guy eating the sandwich. I mean that was funny actually, the sandwich part, but I probably would go to the radio part as my favorite. Them hearing the song for the first time, because I don't know, like it just seems like such a special moment for any band or anybody. Like even like for if you do a podcast and someone brings it up for the first time, oh, I listened to a show, oh, it's my show. That's cool to hear, right? So I don't know. It's just I just think that's a very special thing, and it was a standout for me, even though it was kind of cliche. I still enjoyed it, I guess. Song, That Thing You Do. I'll go with you guys on that. Actually, I'll tell you what. Like I did like some of the songs that were at that showcase. There was one that was really 70s, or maybe it was really 60s, but whatever it was, it had a really cool sound. I don't know the name of it though. But so we'll just go with That Thing You Do, even though we heard it a million times. Favorite quote is, I think at the end, when Tom Hanks talks to him, like it's a very common tale, is what he says about the bands that end up not making it. I guess is what basically I guess he's just saying like, hey, I've seen it 1,000 times. What's happening to you guys, and I don't know if that's necessarily alluding to like how he feels about the music business in the role that he has, but overall, I thought it was an interesting quote or line of dialogue throughout that whole scene. So I was good with that. And score, I think you guys know that. I already kind of said this was not my favorite, and I don't want to. I'm not going to be silly and give it a 2 or anything like that. But I probably got to give it a 4, because I wouldn't watch it again, and I wouldn't watch it again. Steve,
I guess that just leaves me. So for favorite scene, I think I'll go with, I really love the first time that they hear the song on the radio. That's a great scene. But Chris, you said that. So I'm going to go with the talent show. The first time that Guy decides to play the song fast and the crowd reacts, I'm going to go with that. I think the talent show is my favorite scene. In terms of song, I'm going to buck the trend and not say That Thing You Do. I'm going to say it's the Dance With Me Tonight song that they do on that stage that I think looks like a record, and Lenny is the lead singer and Jimmy is backing them up. And Mr. White has this like iconic part in it where he does this thing. You guys can see it on the video. Like there's this like, come on and dance. And he goes like this with his elbow, and he just like he's just fucking rocking along with that song. I feel like that song, if that was the hit song, that could be the hit song. So I'm going to go with that Dance With Me Tonight, although That Thing You Do is spectacular. In terms of movie quotes, I am a unique individual where my brain does not have any relevant information to like life or history or anything, but I'm just like stuck with movie quotes and song lyrics. And it's funny because the movie, I feel like is not super quotable. Most of the quotable, like memorable things are just stupid things that Lenny says. And I think with my favorite quote, the original manager, they're in the camper van, and he's like, "How would you like to do rock and roll shows in Ebensburg, Pittsburgh, and Steubenville?" And Lenny just goes, no. The bass player goes, "Pittsburgh," and Lenny goes, "Steubenville," and I think him saying Steubenville, which is it's a real city, and nothing against Steubenville, it just sounds like it's so silly that him saying the word Steubenville, I think, is my favorite quote of the movie. There's also another one where the guy at Villa Pianos asks him, "Do you know what this is?" showing him money, and he goes, "Presidential flashcards." I feel like Lenny just steals the show with the quotes, but I'm gonna go with Steubenville, which is the fucking worst quote ever for a favorite quote, but I'm giving it. And in terms of 1 to 10, I'm usually pretty generous with my ratings when it comes to movies. And I am not going to buck that trend. This movie is a 10, guys. I'm not saying that it's the greatest movie that's ever made, but I told you that I could watch this movie at any point in the movie, keep it on. I could put it on. I can enjoy it. I've rewatched this movie hundreds of times, and I do not tire of it. So Corey gave it like 1,000 or 100 or something, but then you went back and said maybe a 7. I don't know. I'm giving it a 10. This is a really great movie that has rewatchability. And as somebody that just loves music and watching this story about a band coming from nothing, getting to the top of the hill, and then just falling off that cliff, I think it's a great cinematic masterpiece, and I will continue to watch it. Chris just got a migraine for me saying that.
It's a masterpiece. I mean, okay.
I love it.
You're entitled to your opinion.
I'll tell you what, if it will make you feel better, maybe I'll just say it's a guilty pleasure because it's a silly rom-commy kind of movie that just makes me feel good. Like I like watching it. It's just fun. 10 out of 10. 100%.
You're allowed to feel good.
Thank you. Thank you for that permission. And you know what else makes me feel good is when I get to sing my favorite pop punk and emo songs with musicians that are really good and make me feel like I am a rock star. And you three guys, Corey, Nate, Matt, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. You guys are members of the Emo Band, the premier pop punk and emo karaoke group in the United States. One of you take the lead and tell people where they can follow you and see you and what you have coming up and all that good stuff.
We'll give Nate the floor for that.
Oh man, I was hoping you guys would because I got a real zinger for the end of this. Okay, we are the Emo Band. You can get us on Instagram at the Emo Band. You can go to theemoband.com and look up our song list and where we're going to be, et cetera, et cetera. I think time-wise, will this be out within 2 weeks?
Yeah, early May.
Early May. We've got some early May shows coming up in Nashville. We'll be in Nashville on the 4th or the 5th, Fucks. What is it?
The 3rd. So yeah, you can go to the emoband.com to see where we're playing. Something that just got announced that is cool will be that.
Go see the Emo Band tomorrow in Nashville.
Yeah. All our shows there.
Just
we'll
find one of us. Can I just say one thing about the Wonders real quick again about that thing you do?
Yes,
just one little button. Thank you. So Tom Hanks, more like Tom thanks for such a wonderful movie.
Wow.
He couldn't watch the movie in preparation for this podcast, but he wrote that fucking line for his sign off.
I did.
Busy going with coming up with that one.
A wonderful movie.
I gotta say, everybody out there, the Emo Band is fantastic. If they happen to come to your area, go to it.
Please do.
Even if you're not the most adept singer, they make you feel very comfortable on stage. Matt and Nate do a great job at the background vocals, and they do a great job playing. And as somebody that's been to a couple of different pop punk karaoke types of things, they really make you feel like part of the family, and you'll have a fucking great time. So go see them.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. If you had never been to this before and you hear about us because of that, because of this podcast, come check it out. Even if you don't think it's your thing, a lot of people come and it's just like a big family house party rocking, and we all have a good time. So, and
they play on the cruise. They're part of the Matt Cutchell Emo's Not Dead cruise. They're like, are you guys considered the house band? Is that a okay thing to say? Is that a negative thing to say? I don't know.
I'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take whatever anyone wants to call us.
Go hang out with them in the fucking Bahamas next February, along with the Early November and Emery and the Used. And they fucking hobnob with Ryan Key and all these awesome people. By the way, congratulations, you guys, for getting that gig. That's really, really cool. And I'm sure that you've had great experiences. We should probably have an episode and just talk to you about that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you, man.
That is awesome, Nate. We need to have that promoter on while we talk to you guys about that cruise. Can we get that promoter on from Pittsburgh?
Oh no, I don't want to talk to him ever again. He owes me money too.
Well, guys, it's been a lot of fun. I actually think this was the perfect guest for this movie. You guys were very passionate about it, and I appreciate your analysis, and maybe giving me a little bit of a different perspective on a movie that originally I wasn't as into. So appreciate that, and thanks, guys. It was a blast.
No problem.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
And by the way, Chris Isaac was in this movie. He was Uncle Bob. So
There
in
you go.
case you're wondering, that's
Good catch.
something. And Steve, even though you play a very wicked game, for those of you out there, I have no good segue, but for those of you out there that enjoyed the show, we really would love to hear from you. And the best way to do that is via our socials. So come check us out. The best way to do that is to visit our hub. That's www.hsnepod.com. That links to all of our socials, including our Discord channel, where you can talk to us directly about what you thought about this show or any other show in the High School Never Ends catalog.
That's right. And at HSNE Pod, you can also check out our shop. You can get a really cool hoodie, a hat, a mug. You could wear the hat and the shirt on the Emo's Not Dead cruise and sport your High School Never Ends pride. You could also do us a solid and give us a nice rating on Spotify or on iTunes, that 5-star thing, and tell everybody that we did a great job on this episode and that Nate just brought so much to it, and that he is such an amazing individual and very handsome and talented. Movie May is going to continue next week. We're going to talk about another music-related movie. Until then, I'll just say party on, Chris, and keep on rocking your dad bod, stir up your rock hands, and blast the pop punk.
Internet! I'm Coy Jandro, a Bostonian who loves pop culture, comic books, and people. And I host Coycast. It's a podcast about all those things. If it fits in on a con floor, we talk about it on Coycast. Myself and producer Jake do previews, reviews, deep dives, and tinfoil hat theories about everything from movies, TV, and the comic books themselves. I also like to dish out comic recommendations from my 100-plus pull list a week so you know what's best to buy. So join us, True Believer, on Coycast.com or wherever you're listening to this podcast right now.
Dragon Wagon.